cart, and if I still want it by the end of the sale, I'll buy it. Well, a friend of mine ended up gifting me a copy of Tales of Iron 1 because it was $5 on Steam. So I was talking with Alex about this. We're texting the boys, and I said, yeah, I'll probably pick up the first one, and if I like it, then I'll pick up the second one at a later date. It'll be on sale again in the future. And within the time span of me walking away from my computer, I suddenly received a notice that I had a gift in my Steam profile, and it was from a dear friend, Rasushi, and it was a gift of Tales of Iron. So I installed it. I have it ready to go on my Steam Deck. I was planning on playing it this week, but obviously that's not good enough for our boy Alex. I had to have played it as soon as I downloaded.
Matt, I'll explain to you why I feel the way I do. I value your opinion so much that I am holding my breath, waiting to hear what you think of this game that I enjoy so much. Because I don't need validation from most people out there. But someone who has such a great sense of video game quality, Matt, I'm just excited to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, well, if everything goes as planned this Wednesday, then absolutely I will be giving you an update come next Sunday on episode 666 actual.
My God, will you stop saying that number?
What, 666?
That I'm fine with.
It's the same thing.
No, it's just those. My God.
You're guilty by association now, Tricky.
Tricky, you're still here. It's all good. But to get
I will leave I will leave this episode. I promise you.
You can't. You're streaming at the moment. Anyways, why don't we go into updated trophy counts?
Well, I mean, can we go on with this episode without acknowledging the day? It's whoop-ass day.
It is 3/16.
Did none of you two wrestling fans realize that?
Yeah, Facebook told me.
Every day is a day. Every day is a day.
I like Mario Day better.
Mario. Okay.
Tricky, do you remember who Stone Cold Steve Austin beat in the King of the Ring tournament finals to then dub 316?
Jake the Snake Roberts?
Yes, that is correct.
Do you remember who Stone Cold was talking to?
It was what, Doc Hendricks, or as people better know him, Michael PSAs.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry, Matt. Take the show back.
Never gave it up. So on with our trophy counts. Tricky.
Well, you didn't say who. Level 965 total trophies of 34,273 with 992 platinums. I got one this week, but we don't need to talk about it.
Alex?
Oh, actually, no, we do have to talk about it.
All right. Well,
because
will we talk about it during what you've been playing?
We could do that. Because I have a bone to pick with you three gentlemen. Alex doesn't even remember why.
Sounds ludicrous, but I guess we'll... I mean, I can understand one of us, but all three of us at the same time? I can't imagine what all three of us together did to have you, pick a bone with us.
You guys all agreed.
That happens all the time, Tricky. Level 5 and 19, total trophy count of 10,543, and a platinum count of 190 and 189 games.
Yield?
Level 527 with a trophy count of 11,042 and a platinum count of 209. I got a new one this week.
I am still at level 221, 1,333 trophies and 0 platinums, though I did earn an achievement today playing Monster Hunter Wilds called So Tasty. Cooked a perfectly cooked steak for the first time. Sid is level 892, 27,241 trophies and 849 platinums. And with that, we have a rarity update, Tricky?
Yes, but before we go into the rarity update, Monster Hunter, is it cross-play where you can play with other people on other systems?
Yes.
Okay. Because then my next question is going to be, why didn't you buy the PS5 version so you could play with the boys? But But
Well,
it's
I can tell you, Tricky, but I think Matt's already got his like Monster Hunter party that he plays with.
Yes.
oh, that's
I mean, to be fair, I mean he did play Helldivers with us a few times, but
That
Matt's got his own crew for Helldivers.
but that was also crossplay as well. So.
Yeah. And it plays better on the PC, anyways.
Well, and to be fair, Yield is the only one of us besides Matt that's played a Monster Hunter game. Because Tricky, you and I haven't, and we haven't really shown much interest. So why would Matt buy the PS5 version?
I thought some people in the community wanted to play it as well.
I mean, I'm sure. I mean, given how popular Monster Hunter is, I would assume that we probably have some community members who would want to play. But
I thought I saw Homer get stuff displaying it.
Yeah, Homer. I know Homer, but I thought maybe like Nitro wanted to play it and stuff like that. I can't remember anybody in particular.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Homer's the one who got Yield to play it. The last Monster Hunter.
Rarity update. Top score in Division 1 was Pee Wee with 178, and he moves up to second from fourth behind Rick, who still leads. Doc Chicken scored in Division 2 with 189 points, still leads the way at top in Division 2. He actually is leading the whole thing, but Psychiatrist has 105 points and 9 platinums this week. 9 platinums this week. Yield, you stayed in fifth at 631 points, following a 46-point increase. Tricky has moved to 200 points in 13th after an 18-point increase, and Alex stays in 14th after only scoring a measly 7 points this week, taking him to 186. Damn, he said measly 7 points.
I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, that's not a lot, but I think I got 1 trophy this week, so.
The rarest trophies of the week. Ifrit Hellfire 90 got the rarest plat in Phasmophobia at 2.57%. Doc Chicken got second with a DLC trophy in Rocksmith Plus. Pee Wee for the plat in Pile Up at 3.64%. Dodge Williams fourth with a 5.37 trophy in Battlefield 4. And Darth Knight 82 for a trophy in Phasmophobia. Plat shoutouts. Psychiatrist got them in the following: Horizon Forbidden West, F1 Manager 2023, Tales of Iron, Nico's Journey, Dragon Audit, Snooker Nation, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Aerial Knights Never Yield, Beast of Marvilla Island, CJ got it in Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, Ifrit Hellfire 90 got in Phasmophobia, Meet Goatsalot in Arranger, Pee Wee in Pile Up, Box Up, and Zone of the Enders, Marky Frazier in RoboCop Rogue City, Redbeard Rick in Final Fantasy 9. Shout out Rick, that's a good quality plat right there. And Yield got it in what game, Yield?
Serial Cleaner.
Yeah. Oh, that's the update. Yeah. I have no idea how the hell I got 18 points this week. I know where 10 of them came from. I don't know where the other 8 came from.
How about you start by telling us what you've been playing? Maybe we'll see what got you those trophies.
Division 2, which I got no trophies in.
Well, then it would have to have come from older trophies that have maybe increased in rarity.
They had to have, but I can't imagine. Hold on, let me just double check to make sure I didn't play anything else.
To be fair, Tricky, it's across your entire account.
True.
I mean, you have played a lot of games, so.
Oh, I you know what? Oh no, I got 3 trophies in one of the games I was playing, but they were all commons. So I started playing a game that Alex dared me to play, Raji.
Yeah.
So I started going through that. I had to start that game 3 times because the trophy would not pop.
Which trophy?
In the beginning, when you had to learn about her story, you had to read all the murals in the beginning.
I didn't have any issue with that. I didn't have any issues with the trophies in that game at all, so I don't know why you did. Unless you missed a panel or something.
I must have missed a panel. But yeah, that's what I've been playing, and Division 2, and the Hippo G, which I actually got while I was on the phone with Alex, and Alex cannot admit he's wrong.
Well, actually agrees with me. So it's 2-on-1 and
it's actually 5. It's actually 5. No, 5-on-1 because my stepfather agrees with you as well.
Yeah.
Now what you guys need to know is I don't say this about these games, and like I don't really brag about it, but every single time you pop a trophy in one of these games, it gives you a fun fact. Well, the fun fact in question is hippos cannot swim. Alex
Yes, you can.
is
Thank you,
convinced.
Yield.
Alex is convinced they swim, but if you Google it or you ask Alexa, they both tell you they cannot swim.
I've seen hippos underwater at the Cincinnati Zoo swim. I've seen them move through the water without touching the bottom. See, okay, listeners, here's the thing. Tricky doesn't think if you're on top of water, even if you're kicking your feet and moving, he doesn't think that's swimming. He thinks you're just floating.
Even
He
Rick,
thinks you have to be under the water to swim.
yes.
If you watch Olympic swimmers, Tricky, Olympic swimmers swim on top of the water because they use their arms and feet to propel them. If you are propelling yourself through the water, that is swimming, whether you are on top of the water or not. Floating is just you're not moving. You're just staying still. That's floating. Or like you're moving because the water is moving you. But when you propel yourself, that's swimming no matter where you are in the water.
Matt, you want to read the chat? Because I don't want to seem like I'm being biased here.
Let's see. Redbeard Rick says they run along the bottom. Will Ain't Dead says Google says they can't swim.
I don't care what Google says. I've seen them do it. I've seen them move through the water without touching the bottom.
Sure, it's not a Mandela effect.
Damn sure. I saw it with my own two eyes.
I think you saw what
Was
you
that a
wanted to
zoo?
see. Yeah, and he actually sent me a video of said hippo swimming, and you can clearly see the hippo is propelling itself by his front
Well, first of
feet
all, that
touching
was
the
one at
bottom.
that was the one at the Louisville Zoo, but also
Oh.
if you watch it, the back feet are kicking.
But
in
the
water.
Let's ask this.
front feet
What
are walking along the
really
bottom.
is swimming. What really is swimming?
It is propelling yourself through the water through the use of your arms and legs.
Does it matter if you're touching the floor or not?
Yes. But the difference in what Alice is saying is hippos float on the water and propel them, and they're floating, and they're using their feet to move displaced water. He's talking about a swimmer on top of the water. That is somebody that's actively pushing below and above water to move themselves. That's swimming. What a hippo's doing is floating and using their footer to displace water and touch the bottom to move themselves along.
So, Tricky, you admit that you could swim on top of water.
If I'm moving my arm in a circular motion, yes.
Hold on, Ashley just texted me. I wonder if she's watching this.
I don't know if she's in the chat or
No,
not.
one
I-
of our cats wants in the room.
My stepfather from the other room just yelled something. I have no idea what he just said.
He probably yelled, "Alex is right."
He can't hear you, so he doesn't know you're right.
You know what? Maybe Carlos is stealthily in the chat. Maybe Carlos is on Twitch. Hold on,
Rick says you can swim or you can walk around the pool.
Nitro also said, yeah, totally everything on the internet is true.
But also, here's the thing. Again, Olympic swimmers, they push off the side of the pool. So you don't negate the fact that they swim by the fact that they push off the pool.
That's not the same thing, though.
Yes, it is. It is entirely.
Is a hippo bringing their feet?
If you say that a hippo touching the bottom is them just walking instead of swimming, then you negate anything that they do beyond that by kicking their feet and moving through the water. Just because someone touches the ground once or moves a lot across the ground for some segment of it, then like that doesn't mean that they don't swim at some point. How would they get out of the water if they didn't swim?
Because they float.
Well, this
Do
has
you know how
been
heavy- Do you know how heavy a hippo is? If they
This
floated,
has been your hippo fact corner
hold on.
of trophy whores
How
this
could
week.
hippos go underwater and stay underwater if they just floated naturally?
They can. What are the other facts? They can hold their breath for up to 5 minutes.
Okay, that's around the amount of time that a human can, or close to the amount of time that a human can.
A human can only hold their breath for about 2 minutes on average.
I thought it was like 3 or something like that. Anyway, 5, 2, 3, who gives it? That's still close enough. How, if they can't swim at all, like how do they get back above water to get on land?
Because they go to a bank and then walk onto the shore.
there may not always be a bank to walk on. Again, hippos are big creatures. Maybe the bank is like sloped too much or straight up and down.
Okay, but what is getting onto back on the land have anything to do with swimming? If they can't put their feet
Because
on the
if you're in
ground
deep
and
enough-
walk on, or you think they're climbing over the edge they're climbing over the edge of a pool? No.
Because if you're in deep enough water, you will need to propel yourself up somehow. It's not like they're pushing off the bottom and jumping.
Have you ever seen a hippo propel itself out of the water?
I've seen hippos get out of water at the zoo.
But have you seen a hippo
This is
propel itself out of the water?
Absolutely thrilling, but I'm going to kill this conversation right here because this has gone so far off the rails. You might as well be that train in Ohio that derailed. Anyways,
Is that the chemical one, or was there a new one?
that was the chemical one. Yeah.
Oh, I was like, holy shit, Yield, run for your life! It's happened again.
The point being is that there's no convincing Tricky or Alex one way or another, and I have given enough time to Hippo Talk. And
Well, we didn't
there's
get
never
Yield's
enough hippo
opinion
talk.
though.
There's never enough hippo talk.
hey, Yield, do you care whether hippos can float, can swim or not?
No.
There we go. Anyway,
They are majestic creatures, man. I
Tricky.
will not have you sell them short.
I'm not saying that they are not majestic creatures, but no, I'm not getting pulled into your hippo conversation.
You just did though.
What
You know
else?
that a hippo can bite a saltwater crocodile in half. That's how powerful their
Ask
powers
me
are.
whether or not I care.
But you
Dude,
know,
that's impressive as shit. You better care.
but you both have house hippos, so
I am not going anywhere near a hippo, so it doesn't matter to me.
House hippos. How
Tricky.
Matt does not have a house.
What else? Yo, that you talk about
Zelda's
my wife
German.
again, and I'm gonna.
whoa,
Zelda's
whoa,
German.
don't even go there. I didn't say anything along those lines.
Exactly. Which is why we need to fucking move on. With
I
this
did not say
conversation right
anything
now.
along that. I want that stricken from the record.
Totally insinuated.
I'm just waiting for her to overhear that and walk into the background, just like stare into the camera with daggers.
Yeah.
I do have a house hippo though.
Tricky. Is that all you've been playing?
I think so. I lost track at this point. Hold on, let me
All
bring up
right.
my profile again.
Alex, what have you been playing?
So I played, I think maybe a round of Helldivers. I don't know. I can't remember. I think I played a round. But
Yeah,
it's not really.
you played with us.
Okay. Yes, I played 2 rounds because I saw Nitro was playing with the guys, specifically Riley and Yield. So I jumped in there because I don't think Nitro has played a ton of Helldivers. Correct, Yield? He
Correct.
bought the game a couple months ago whenever he got around to buy his PlayStation. And I was like, holy shit, there's Nitro. I'll join him. And I was actually playing while I was editing last week's podcast, so I couldn't chat with the guys because I had my headphones in and listened to the show. So did that, and I didn't do a whole lot of gaming this week because the other game I've been playing, Ashley and I have been talking about getting Split Fiction, so maybe I've made comments about that before, so maybe didn't do that yet, but I assume at some point we'll get that so we can play that game together. But really, I mean, it's but mainly Subnautica. And there's a lot that I like about that game. I've talked about the underwater exploration, just the way the game looks, exploring the alien world, seeing the scenes underwater at night, the whole resource management of it. My biggest issue, though, and I talked about how the game doesn't really give you a lot to go off of in the beginning. I don't really know how long this game's gonna take because I played for 6 hours and I feel like I haven't done shit in the game, and like that just kind of the pace of this game is too slow for me. So when you do certain one of your main method of communication and receiving communication is your radio in your live pod, and you get new messages based on when you reach certain checkpoints in the game or playing a certain amount of time. So I assume if you're just lost and you're just putting hours or so much time to this game, the game is going to drip feed you information because they're like, we don't want you to get stuck and not progress. But still at this point, when you get messages over the radio, a lot of it's like, hey, that's another life pod that's crash landed on this planet, which if there's so many life pods and people crashing on the planet, that might signify a problem. We might want to know more about this planet than we already do. But I've already went out and actually pretty much found all these life pods on my own just by exploring. So the radio at this point hasn't really told me anything outstanding. A lot of the stuff I'm getting is stuff I've already found. So the pace of the game feels super slow because I'm just kind of I don't know. I don't know how much I've actually progressed in the game, which is super annoying. I've only got 2 of the trophies. I mean, I'm not looking for a quick game, but at the same time, to get the pace of this game, because you are allowed to move, because it's nice you can move at your own pace, but at the same time, the game and the way it works, and it's not like it doesn't tell you explicitly what to do. In a lot of cases, it just feels like it moves too slowly for me, and I lose interest in the game, to be perfectly honest with you. I'll play for a little bit, and then I feel like I don't do much, and then I'm like, well, fuck, this is just wasting my time, and I turn it off. But yeah, so I mean, I've got trophies in it. It's not supposedly a hard platinum, so I'm gonna push on through. But just at times, playing that game is difficult for me, just because I feel like I'm not getting anywhere, despite the fact that I'm swimming and swimming and swimming and collecting and building, and I don't know. I feel like I've only scratched the surface of this game, but at the same time, I feel like I've also put a lot of effort into it, so it's never a good feeling. But so those are my general feelings on Subnautica. Hopefully, I put more time into it this week and get a little further, because I want to play more. It's just the pace of the game kills my enthusiasm for it.
You know the ultimate tip to keep getting through Subnautica?
What's that? Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Yeah, like I said, so like after a certain amount of time, they'll send you another radio transmission. So I guess you just gotta waste some time. But Yield, I think you asked me about the combo bundle with Subnautica 2, and if I bought that, once I platinum this game, I don't think I'll be doing Subnautica 2, like I said, just because of the pace of it. So
you mean the Sub-Zero?
Sub-Zero.
Yeah, Sub-Zero.
Because I think there is an actual Subnautica 2 coming.
Yes, there is.
Oh, okay. So Subnautica Sub-Zero is just kind of an offshoot. Like it's like a full-size game.
Standalone, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a smaller standalone game, I believe, or something like that.
Kind of like a Miles Morales kind of thing.
Kind of, yeah. There you go.
Exactly.
All right.
Anything else?
Yeah. No, that's all I've been playing. Like I said, it wasn't a big week for me. Hopefully, I do a little more this week. But I just had a lot going on last week, and editing and everything like that just kind of throws you for a loop sometimes.
Gotcha. Yield?
I played some Helldivers 2. I think it was like Tuesday or Wednesday. I was in a mood to play something different. I saw a new major order had started, so I wanted to possibly collect some medals, which we didn't have any, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to play some. And so the Brain 76 and Nitro jumped on, and then Alex jumped in eventually. So it was fun. Like I said, like Alex was saying, Nitro has just begun, and we were playing on his Star Destroyer, or Super Star Destroyer, was the hub that we were playing in. So we were working his way up to the higher level progressions, helping him get there. And so that was fun. We pretty much played the whole night. Played a little bit of Pac-Man World Repack. Still trying to get to and clear level 9, so I can check that platinum. Done. Played a bunch more SnowRunner, both single player and multiplayer with Nitro. Matter of fact, we played a bunch. We played for like 9 hours Saturday, and then we were playing some today. So, just working on that. And then, as Tricky said in the rarity update, my latest platinum was Serial Cleaner. I started that Saturday night, finished it Tuesday. I think I finished it Tuesday. And so, go ahead.
I was gonna say, was the sequel is the one you were excited about on the Facebook group, or was that a different game? You posted a video of a new game being revealed.
I don't remember. I know that what was it? On Thursday, while I was at work, they dropped Power Wash Simulator. Dropped that they're releasing Power Wash Simulator 2 sometime this year.
That's what I was thinking. Okay.
And then it probably an hour later, Focus dropped on Facebook that they are in the process of working on Warhammer 40K 3. And they will let us know more information when they get around to it. Or when the time comes, actually. I shouldn't say when they get around to it. So that was kind of cool, both kind of on Thursday. That was neat. But anyway, so I played Serial Cleaner, got the platinum in that. To get the platinum, you have to play through all of the movie-inspired levels, which there are movie reels hidden throughout the 20 campaign missions that you do. And then you have 10 movie-inspired bonus levels that you have to do. Those are some pretty fun levels. They have a Monty Python and the Holy Grail level, which absolutely makes it well worth it. So I'm not going to go any more detail than that because I don't want to ruin all the fun. So
Bad movie.
yeah. You shut up, that person who doesn't get comedy.
That was such a bad movie.
No, you just don't understand comedy.
I understand comedy. That was not comedy. That was stupidity.
Oh my gosh. Don't make Matt reach through the internet and kill you.
Matt's not the one I'm worried about, it's Rick.
Yeah, I was going to say, Rick loves that stuff, doesn't he? I mean,
he
loves some Monty Python.
He actually paid money into the Extra Life for me to watch that.
And speaking of Redbeard Rick, just a throwback, he says hippos would be terrible at Subnautica then, and then shut up, Tricky.
Yeah, exactly. Shut up, Tricky. And then so there is, supposedly it's the sequel. PSN Profile says it's the sequel. Serial Cleaners is on sale right now, so I may pick that up.
Sounds co-op.
You play as 4 different people, so that's hence the Cleaners. So I don't know. It's made by 2 different people, so I don't know if it truly is the sequel or not. I guess I'd have to play it to find out, but it sounds like it's pretty much the same game. So, and I enjoyed this one. So if you find it on sale again and you enjoy a top-down game, I would at least say check it out. It was fun. And that's pretty much been it. I've just been playing those 4 things this week. Haven't really ventured into anything else yet, which I'm about to. I'm getting that itch to go play something new.
Play Jedi Survivor.
I don't quite know if I haven't platinumed Outlaws yet, which I need to mess around with that and punch list that.
I do need to get back to that myself.
You need to get back to Horizon.
There's a bunch.
Get back to Baldur's Gate 3.
Didn't somebody pay money for that?
Oh my God, I'm not going down this path every single week with you guys.
Well, you opened up games you need to get back into playing, and we just were throwing out suggestions.
While you're at it, Tricky, you can play some Kill with Fire.
Not happening.
Which Kill It With Fire 2 is in my Steam cart right now.
There's a second?
There's a second, and it is co-op.
Oh, see, Tricky? Matt needs a co-op partner.
Alex, jump on that.
I mean, Matt, if you want to play some Kill with Fire, wait, would it be...
I don't think it's crossplay.
They're trying to ruin our fun, Matt. I hate them.
What's cool is I actually have the first Kill It With Fire on my PC and my VR headset. Imagine seeing those spiders jump at you face first.
See, you should have said it was in VR, and then you get Tricky to play it, and then watch him just flip backwards over the chair and throw the headset off.
It would probably damage my headset.
And then have a heart attack in the process.
So, games I got to get back to are Helldivers 2,
Gates 3,
Jak and Daxter, Horizon, Raji, Funko Fusion, Outlaws.
Good luck with that, because you definitely didn't enjoy that game.
Which one?
Funko.
Dark Pictures Anthology, Man of Medan, and Darksiders 2. Those are all ones I got to get back to.
Oh my lord, you still haven't done Darksiders 2?
I got to a spot.
Then you got stuck.
No, I got to a spot where I walked in and there was a giant ass spider, which is easy enough to kill. But the way I'm gonna do it is with my eyes closed, so I can actually pass it. But I don't have enough potions just to like blindly heal when I make mistakes. So I got to run back, get more potions, and then go back into that fight.
Are you actually? Can you not see anything, or are you squinting?
I'm closing my eyes. Do you guys remember? I don't know if it was Uncharted 3 or Uncharted 4.
3.
There was a scene where you had to run towards the screen as a bunch of spiders were coming at you.
Yeah, the pink spiders.
I did that entire section with my eyes closed.
Oh, I don't believe it.
I did.
Yeah, that sounds made up.
Yeah, there's no way you'd have known which way to run because the camera switches.
Also, were there like holes and abysses that you could fall into?
Yes.
I memorized. I couldn't do it now, but I
Dude,
memorized.
I have done. No, there's no way that you like counted like how many steps or seconds to the next hole or the next like drop. There's no way.
I I I did it years ago, but yeah, I did it.
Video, or it didn't happen.
Dude, I know from playing. I grew up playing the Crash Bandicoot games where they had you like running from the polar bear or whatever. Like those could be a pain in the ass. There's no way you could remember when you needed to jump, and no.
Rick says there's a big platforming section later with spiders where you have to light torches.
I'm assuming that's in Uncharted 3. And the other game I gotta get back to is our Marvel's Avengers, because I'm literally 2 trophies away from that platinum.
Well, Rick is further claiming that there's no way you could do that with your eyes closed.
See, Rick knows.
I mean,
I
Rick's
don't
easily like the smartest person we know. So
I don't know how to prove it to you guys, but I said this story back then, and none of you guys challenged me then. So like
well, then I was like
We were drunk.
stupefied or something. I was so stupefied I couldn't talk because if any moment someone told me that,
you guys were too busy mocking me about digital spiders.
Well, then there's probably that too.
yeah, but no, I must have been so just crestfallen by what you had said that I just could not.
Don't
open
even
my
do
mouth
it,
and
Matt.
throw out the words.
MZ
Matt,
chat
don't
said
don't
he
even
did
do it.
as legit as the Mortal Kombat combos.
he used, what are they called? Not proxies, but macros. Yeah, that's what he did. Use that.
I knew what word you looked for. I just wasn't gonna help you.
I know you were. You leave it long enough, the brain will find it.
Alrighty.
Your brain or
Anyway,
Riley?
are we gonna do a show?
I don't know, because you guys keep picking on me.
I'm trying to move on. So
He is. He's trying.
So Matt, what about those hippos?
fuck those hippos.
They swim. They're the most dangerous animal in the jungle.
I once watched a video of a hippo toss an antelope to the side because there were wild dogs trying to get at it in the mud, and I think the antelope was like, "Help me, hippo!" and the hippo was like, "I'll help you get to shore," and tossed him like a sack of potatoes.
I saw that video. Yeah, it's very sad. It's awful.
It's nature.
I know it's nature. It's still awful to watch. If it happens to me not watching it, I don't care. But when I have to watch that happen, it's like Jesus.
Dex was in the chat, just so everybody knows.
Hi, Dex. All right. For me this week, more Monster Hunter Wilds was on the platform. So basically, I just spent all week playing that. I did a little bit more Fable Anniversary, fighting those giant wasps and zapping them with lightning. So that was fun. But
Matt,
the game,
can I make a comment on Fable?
Sure.
I think that game would have been a lot more well received if Peter Molyneux has not said so much shit about it prior to its release. Because I feel like him being the leader of Lionhead, like, built it up so much and set expectations. And when the game came out, like, people still like Fable, people still like that series, but just what he sold everyone on, like, without all that, I think that people would have been a lot warmer on the first game.
Yeah, and the problem was kind of like the No Man's Sky thing. A lot of things were promised, a lot of things were said, and maybe it didn't deliver on most of that, but I still have fun playing it. It's a fun little RPG. I enjoy it. So
That's all that matters, man.
just as long as you have fun.
Yep.
So the main game I want to talk about this, and this might be actually something Rick is interested in. Our gaming gal Kalai put it on my radar, and it's called Deck of Haunts. So take Slay the Spire, make it so that way you are a haunted mansion, essentially. And it's set up via a couple rooms, and your main room has your heart in it. And what you have to do is you have people coming in to investigate the house, and you have to either kill them or drive them insane. And you do that by playing cards. So it's a deck builder game. And, you could do things that physically hurt people. You could do things that spook them and drive them insane eventually. And each night you have to drive the people out. each day you can add things onto your house, such as rooms. I added a bell tower that gave me a witch that scares people. And you have to, there's like a resource, by killing people you get their essence, and then you use that essence to build out the house and maintain the house. So either if you run out of essence or the people attack your heart, that's how you lose the game. And it's like a top-down view. It's really neat graphics. It's really cool art style. And obviously just playing the demo, it still hasn't fully released, so they've got more time and things to add into it. But it's a neat little idea and a spin on a deck builder game. And I enjoyed the time I had with it. I'm definitely looking forward to full release, so I kind of backed away. I didn't want to just completely plow into the demo for everything it's worth, for fear that maybe I'll miss out on something when it comes time for the actual game. But that is all I've really been doing this week. Again, Wilds, Fable, and this demo of Deck of Haunts is what it's called. But next week, Alex, don't worry, I will be trying Tales of Iron and give you a report out next Sunday.
See, I trust you, Matt, because I know
episode 666.
Matt, I'm glad I gave you some space to say that, because that needed to be said.
It's not funny, Yield. Stop encouraging him.
It's absolutely hilarious. I'm gonna start setting them up.
Matt, I know you're a man of your word, because you gave me, like, as quick as can be, your thoughts on a Minty, so I know you're good for it.
I try to be. But you know what else is also is good? News. Let's talk about some news articles that came up this week. And
yes,
seeing as how it's the mid-month, beware the Ides of March. So Caesar got stabbed to bring you this news. Coming from the PlayStation blog.
No, Matt. Caesar got stabbed to bring us Assassin's Creed Origins.
Well, yeah, I just saw a Reddit post like on this day 2,000 some odd years ago, Assassin's Creed Ayala stabbed Caesar in the back to bring us to where we are. So coming from the PlayStation blog, Adam Mitchell, we've got a couple games coming to PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium, including UFC 5 and Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. So go out there and play it, jerks who complain that Ubisoft doesn't make any good games. Captain Tsubasa: Rise of New Champions, which is a very anime-based soccer game. Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation Code Fairy Standard Edition. Arcade Paradise. Bang On Balls Chronicles.
That just sounds dirty.
At parking. Well, it's because you think it sounds dirty, Trey.
You suck at parking. That game looks so stupid.
It's silly, but it's actually kind of technical.
It's a game. It's a game where you have to parallel park in different situations.
I've watched that trailer a few times when it's been on sale. And I've been like, I don't know, man. It looks dumb, but it looks like I would enjoy it too.
It's a New York City simulator.
Parallel parking simulator. Everyone's terrified to play it.
And the final game on Extra and Premium is Siberia: The World Before. Moving on to just Premium.
I heard those games are actually pretty good. The Siberia games?
Back when I used to work at CompUSA and I was stocking all the PC game section, I remember seeing the cover of the original Siberia being like, what the hell is this game supposed to be? And it never intrigued me enough to actually investigate. Coming to PlayStation Plus Premium, Arcade Paradise VR. And from your retro collection, some of my personal favorites, Armored Core Project Phantasma, and Armored Core Master of Arena. Alex, any of those games doing it for you this month?
No, but I do have a question, something I noticed, and this is probably something only Tricky can answer because Yale doesn't have PS Plus, and Matt, I don't believe you do. Well, Matt, you don't. Do you have PlayStation Plus?
I don't have any of it anymore.
Okay. So Tricky, I don't know if you've noticed, but under the Classics section, the Classics catalog on PlayStation Plus, if you have Premium,
okay,
they've done something weird where it says you can sort by recently added, and like the Twisted Metal games are at the top of the list. And it's weird because they came out in 2023. Like those were released on PlayStation Network in 2023, and I know because I have the Platinum Trophy for both of them. You can go check the timestamps. Why are they cycling old games to the top of the recently added for the PlayStation Plus classics list?
Maybe it's because I don't really know the answer, but I'm just assuming maybe it's because there was a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 version just released for it.
Yeah, but if you go back down through the list, it's not. I mean, maybe they're packing both underneath the same listing, but it's like moved to the top of the list. It's not like you can go to the middle of the list and find Twisted Metal and Twisted Metal 2.
I don't know. I mean, that's just my assumption, but no, I don't know for a fact. Yeah.
All right. It was just weird.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it was like a visual issue that's going to be fixed, but it was just weird because I'm like, man, these games up here have already been released, and they've been released a while ago.
Well, when was the release date for them?
Well, no, the Twisted Metal 2, I got platinum trophies in 2023 because that was part of my giant year of getting over 30 platinums.
No, I'm asking when you looked on the list, when did it say release?
I don't remember. I don't know if I went into them because I was like, there was no point for me to go into them because those games were originally released in the 90s and then they were released. I know that they were released as part of the Plus catalog, so I didn't really assume that I needed to go and look at that.
I mean that would be what I would tell you to do. I'm actually going to see right now.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be real honest with you, Tricky. I was just kind of curious about this. I'm not really going to actually put that much effort into it.
No, now you got me curious. Classics. Let's see the classics. There we go.
I don't know. Did they have to take them down for a bit and then put them back up? But
that's possible. I'm not even seeing them at the top of the list anymore.
Maybe it's just like it was fixed or an issue that was fixed. But yeah, that's just weird.
I mean, I'm seeing Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3, Up, Herc's Hero, Star Wars Demolition, Ape Academy.
Well, that's weird because Toy Story 3 has been on there for a while too.
Toy Story 3 was released. Oh, it doesn't say.
Yeah, no, I remember Toy Story 3 being on there for a long time.
Release date was 3/14/25.
I don't know about that.
2 days ago.
Oh, well.
Maybe it's just the 4 and 5 versions clicking in. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. We've dedicated too much time to this. But yeah, to quick answer your question, Matt, after all that, no, I mean, none of those games really, no offense to Armored Core, but none of that really sounds like I'm going to be playing it.
You're not sitting playing Prince of Persia?
Oh yeah, The Lost Crown. I don't know. Maybe after I finally finish Subnautica, after 2,000 hours of my life, maybe I'll check out The Lost Crown. Really, really just completely piss on Ubisoft because I'm like, yeah, I'll play that game for free. That game I didn't buy.
I know you didn't put it in the agenda, Matt, but can I briefly talk about the God of War 20th anniversary things they're doing?
Sure, go for it.
All right, this is coming from the blog too, written by Grace or Lady. Basically, because of the 20th anniversary, they're coming back with the Dark Odyssey collection, which is an in-game update for Ragnarok. It's just a skin for pretty much Kratos and other things like the weapons and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. But what I'm finding more interesting is they're coming out with these facts on Facebook. They're coming out with 20 facts. I don't know if you guys have seen any of them, but I thought they were all pretty cool. Have you guys seen any of them?
No.
Right, hold on. Let me. Why can't I spell? Who comes up? Sony Santa Monica, right?
They are the ones who made God of War, yes.
Sony's. I don't know. I can't spell right now, and autocorrect's not helping me. Anyway, some of the facts that were coming out, I thought they were pretty cool. Like they talk about how some of the design choices they make. How Cory Barlog said that he didn't want to have Kratos flip at all, and then he put one in there at one time. Like today, like an hour ago, they just released fact number 8. In God of War Ascension, the Delphi level features 3 massive snakes, but only one has a special touch. Its purple, gold, and black pattern isn't just for style. It's a stealthy nod to the level design's favorite team, a diehard fan who had to convince art director to make it happen. Like certain facts like that, just it's kind of intriguing. So if you're
Tricky, I gotta be honest. I don't know what the hell I don't understand. I didn't follow that at all. The snakes, the Delphi level, the 3 snakes. I don't really know what
all
you
right,
said that set
well,
the one apart.
how about this one? Fact number 5: Atreus and Freyr aren't just along for the ride; they're watching your back. Their AI tracks when you're overwhelmed, low health, too many enemies, and adapts and unlocking new moves to help. That quote, "Get away from him" special blast, 3-hour blast. That's designed to save your ass. It's pretty cool facts. I mean, if you like God of War, go look at the facts. Some of these things that come out, which are pretty cool. All right, that's it. That's all I wanted to say.
I forgot. I thought God of War fans wanted to forget Ascension happened.
Well, that was for Ragnarok, but
No, I know, but you also the 3 snakes thing at Delphi was God of War Ascension.
yes, I didn't think Ascension was that bad of a game. I mean, it wasn't the best. I think it was the worst of the series, but it wasn't that bad of a game.
Alrighty. Yield, did you get a chance to chime in yet?
No, because I don't have premium, so.
Okay.
Because he refuses to let me get it for him.
I've got enough games to play. I don't need an additional backlog.
Well, how about you, Tricky? Any of these games talking to you?
I'm definitely going to be playing The Lost Crown. The other ones I don't think I'm too interested in.
Tricky, I don't think you're gonna have enough time to play any of these games with what's coming out on March 20th.
Oh, you mean the game that downloads tonight?
I guess so.
Does it download tonight?
Do you get early access to it? Did you pre-order it?
Yes, I did.
So do you get early access to it?
I believe I do.
And that game would be?
Mr. Assassin's Creed.
Yes, Shadows.
Yes. I'm actually
sorry.
I'm actually going to see right now when I can download it. It is currently downloading.
Oh, good. Speaking of which, that game will be releasing on Steam as well and will not require you to attach the Ubisoft launcher. However, a Ubisoft account is still required. Just a heads up. So, with that, I'm obviously, if I had access, I'd be playing those old Armored Core games, even though I technically already have them. So, I don't need PlayStation Plus to play old games. I don't need Sony making me pay to play all those old ones. And next article, stalling for time while I figure out what the next one
Okay,
is.
why are you doing that? I stand corrected. It just says it's downloaded and it doesn't download for 2 more days. Downloads on the 18th.
Okay. Next article comes from the Biased Push Square, which I'm surprised this one came out. Because in this week's Sad Gaming News Corner, another PS5 live service title does a Concord game and dev to close 2 weeks after PS5 launch. So there was a game out on PC a while ago called Spectre Divide, and it just came to the PS5 within the last 2-3 weeks. This is brought to you by developer Mountaintop Studios. And it's gone. So in other words, they launched in season 1 and they didn't get the sustained players they need. So as a result, the game is shuttering and the studio is closing down. Again, just saying you can't just throw a live service game together and say, yep, we're going to make a ton of money off this. Obviously, it has to generate some revenue for the company to keep it afloat. Tricky, you're the one who posted this. What are your thoughts?
Thank you, Jimmy Ryan.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Nitro says he's never heard of that game before. That's the problem. Nobody else has either.
Yeah, well, the article says it was kind of like Valorant, of which I don't even know how Valorant is doing these days.
I think it's better on PC than it is on. I mean, it came to console, tail end of last year because my nephews are playing it. But I've got another nephew that's, I think, plays the heck out of it, but he's been playing it on PC, I think, several years or a couple of years before it finally migrated to console. So
Dex wants to know why we got to mention Concord.
Well, we mentioned it because the article mentioned it. Otherwise, we wouldn't talk about it.
Dex likes Concord, or Concord.
I'm glad that he does.
Yeah. Well, sorry, Dex.
And did you say Push Square is biased?
Yeah.
Well, I've never really cared for Push Square because the last time I was checking their articles, they would have this really not killer, but an interesting headline, and then you'd click on it, and it was something that it felt like a third grader wrote. It was like a paragraph, maybe 2 paragraphs long, didn't really give you any information, and I'm like, I'm done with this website. And so anytime I haven't unfollowed them on like social media, but every time I see them post something, I'm like, okay, I'll look somewhere else to see if I can actually find an article with some substance.
Yeah, I just want Matt to remember that next time he posts an article from PC Gamer, because they're not biased at all.
I fully admit that they're biased. They just happen to be true.
They're talking about PC gaming. It would be like posting something from official PlayStation blog.
Dex says, bite like can't fucking play it. I don't exactly know what he means, but I assume he's meaning Concord. He's still mad about Concord.
He means Spectre Divide. He might like it, but he can't play it.
Oh.
So that's to say that the game is fully pretty much shutting down within the next 30 days, according to the article. But, yeah, good job, Jimmy Ryan.
Take it. You got the old Jim Ryan kiss of death there.
But, hold on. Hold on a second. Is this a Jimmy Ryan thing, though? Because this is not a Sony studio.
No, we just assigned blame to Jim Ryan.
All right, fair enough. I just want to be clear. This wasn't
anything that fails from Sony in the next probably couple more years will all be Jimmy Ryan's fault.
So 3 years down the line, if something fails, it's Jimmy Ryan's fault.
Yeah, he set the things in motion.
No, if there's a game somewhere that dies and goes under, it's Jim Ryan's fault.
Even if it's on Xbox?
Yeah.
Sure,
Okay.
why not?
All right, we can move on.
All right. Next article. PS Portal can now stream loads of PS Plus Premium classic games. Good job, Jimmy Ryan. Actually doing something good for the people. Coming from True Trophies, Lee Brady. There are 32 new PS Plus Premium games on the PlayStation Cloud gaming list. There are PS1 games, PSP games, and adding these classics makes a big update for the PS Portal Cloud streaming beta. So, for those of you who have a PS Portal device and you have the PS Plus lineup, you're going to be able to play more classic games. Good job, Jimmy Ryan, making people pay to play something. No, this is actually a valid use. If you're paying for the service and you have the ability to stream it to your portal, that's actually a valid thing that you're paying for.
Yes, something that should have been available day one.
Should have been. Good job, Jimmy Ryan.
Good job, Sony.
Thank you,
What's
Herman
the matter,
Hulse.
Tricky?
Truth hurt?
No, I can't really argue with Yield and say that this should have been day one, but it annoys me when people make comments like that because you can't expect everything out the gate and then everybody's going, oh, well, we should have had this day one.
The reason I say this is because, how do I want to say it? Streaming like this, streaming the back catalog of Plus games is like what I feel is the niche for the portal.
Okay.
So that's why I said that should have been day one. But instead, all we really did was make it a Vita 2.0. But we can't put any games in it. We have to stream it all from our console, which they had trouble with that. So that's just it. It's like they put the cart before the horse with this, and then was like, "Oh shit, we need to do other things for it." I don't know. It's just my opinion. It just seems like a classic Sony move.
Dex, Matt's not going to get that reference, so.
I know Joe Hendry is a wrestling reference.
Okay.
I hear enough of that shit from the Loop Bros.
I mean, they're still putting out shows?
No.
No, like I'm like I said, I can't argue with you, but it annoys me when somebody says something like that because me personally, I don't expect every feature to be out there day one, and I'm grateful when features come like this come, but I don't expect them day one. But and I'm not trying to throw you under the bus here, Yield, but you would also say that themes on the PlayStation 5 should have been there day one.
Well, it should have been, but it's not. We don't even have themes.
Right. And what I say is I'd rather them get the
not-
console out and get it working and get it compatible than work on features like backgrounds. Stuff like that.
If this was the PlayStation 2 or 3, sure, but we're at the 5 now. That's kind of part of the system. We need to evolve. We need to move forward, not move backwards.
All right. We can move on.
Alrighty. Well, Alex, I know this doesn't have much benefit to you, but any additional thoughts?
No. I mean, look, I've made it a point to say that the portal has no value to me at all. But I understand, like, for the people who do have it, I mean, the more functionality there is, the better. I mean, I'm not hoping, I'm not, crossing my fingers and being like, oh my God, I hope the portal fails just because I said I don't want it. So, I mean, more functionality for the people who already bought it is good.
Like, my issue is comparing to the Steam Deck release. When you look at the things Steam is adding, they are adding additional functionality, but they're adding more technical things behind the scenes, not features that were like, that's why you release the system. The Porter was released as a remote play system. And for them to say you can only do it from your PS5 to your handheld was a disservice to the entire process. So now what you're looking at is Sony said, okay, it's successful. We're actually going to put time and effort into this. Compare that with the VR2, which frankly just needs games. And Sony's not putting out many games themselves. They're putting third-party games on it. But why am I going to buy into a Sony ecosystem just to play those games? And if I'm already a PS5 owner, you get better. I can't say that you automatically get better stuff on the PC, but being attached to that console is a problem. So I'm happy Sony is supporting this, but this just seems like the exception compared to Sony peripherals compared to what's been in the past.
Well, and something you said is kind of crazy, Matt, because you're like, Sony's seen this being more successful or selling maybe more units than I thought they would, and now they're putting effort into it. Usually it's the other way around, where you put something into effort and that effort rewards you with success.
And it's funny because last week we had the article talking about Sony or Tricky jokingly asking if the Steam Deck was considered a failure because it sold about a third of what the Portal did.
In much less time.
I'm sorry, the Vita. The Vita.
In much less time.
Yes. And this week, Steam put out a 2024 review, and they're lauding all the success that the Steam Deck has had, both in hardware achievements, software achievements, things that they've done to improve it. So again, you put out something, you need to support it in any way possible if it's going to be a success.
I have to wonder, and I'm just throwing this out there, the PSVR 2 came out before the Portal.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that they made more VR2s available than people bought.
Yes.
And they started slowing production. I wonder if the lack of success for the PSVR 2 in some ways threw cold water on what they thought the Portal could do. As in, they scaled back their support and expectations for the Portal based on the PSVR 2.
I'd believe it.
Just a thought.
They just wanted to get it out the door and see what happened.
Yeah, I mean, you've done all that R&D. You've made the thing, so you want to sell it.
I feel like, unfortunately, that becomes Sony's MO with extras. Their consoles are very well thought out and very planned and very purposeful. And their extras are just, let's see what we could throw on the wall and make stick.
And then we'll keep working on it if it sells.
Yeah. All right. Final article we have here comes from Insider Gaming. And Mike Straw writes that EA adds microtransactions to Skate's closed alpha. So we actually had a conversation about this recently with Tony Hawk and Skate and things like that. Well, the new Skate, that game that's coming out, has had a closed alpha. And the journalist had somebody provide them some insider information, and they evidently instituted microtransactions in the closed alpha. And for those of you who may not be aware, alpha is a term for the game plays, there's going to be bugs. It's not a beta, it's not a demo. This is for actual testing purposes. And basically what is being said is that your feedback will be greatly appreciated in providing a great experience at early access launch. So the game will be coming out in early access. And to ensure we achieve the goals at early access, we have enabled the option to purchase and use virtual currency.
That's such a classic EA move.
Like, what? Just to make sure the system works at early access, we're enabling it in the closed alpha. This is so you can tell us that it works, which means that there's people potentially buying money. And you know, the entire purpose of early access games is you're supposed to buy into it. Your funding helps develop the game. And now you get somebody like EA putting this out there to fund the game. Like, early access is meant for small indie developers to put a game out, and if it weren't for your assistance, maybe the game wouldn't be made. Does EA need early access funding to make these games happen?
I want to take a side on this, but I know I'm going to get roasted.
Oh,
That makes for better radio then.
Tricky's got a hot take, folks.
Is Tricky about to play devil's advocate?
It's sounding like it. Hey, what a perfect time to play devil's advocate on 666 -1.
I fucking hate you.
You might as well, Tricky, you've already tickled everyone's taint, so you might as well let loose with it.
I don't necessarily have a problem with this under certain conditions.
Good. We'll see you next week.
Under certain conditions. One,
well, it's always under EA's conditions, so
any purchases made during the closed alpha get translated or transferred over to the full game release.
They better.
It better.
And two, if they're trying to work the system out, I understand that, but I would argue and say that they don't necessarily need to charge for it. They need to find a way. If they got to put any kind of monetary value on it, I would say it's got to be under $1.
I would think buying into early access, if you buy into the alpha, or most alphas, I think you're given a code. But anyway, for the argument's sake, if you buy into the alpha, then that you should be giving some currency so that way you can test it. That way you're not out anything out of pocket. That's my opinion.
That as well. I was going to get into that as well.
Okay.
And one of the main reasons why I don't have a problem with this is because Skate is not one of the marquee titles EA puts out. This is more of like a cult hit games that people have been asking for a while. So I would argue, and I have no facts behind this, but I would think that the funding for this game is probably very, very tight. and this is their way of making a little extra budget to help make the game better. Under those conditions, I really don't have a problem with this. Do I think it's shitty that EA has to do this in any way, shape, or form? Yes.
How much do they expect to pull in? It's like they need money to get over the finish line. How much do they expect for this to pull in, honestly?
I don't know. See, I wouldn't clarify saying they need this to get over the finish line. I think what I'm saying is if this is their way to raise some money to increase their budget so they can start planning for additional future features once the game releases, whether it be a DLC or, whatever the case may be, I understand it. I don't agree with it. I understand it.
No, this is EA testing the waters. This is EA testing the waters to see if they can get you to spend money on this game before it fully comes out.
And the other thing I'll add before I shut up about this is if for some reason this game does not hit market, every single dollar spent on these microtransactions should be refunded.
So, I think that if they're doing this, they're going to make sure come hell or high water that game gets to market. But what do we know about EA more than anything else? They will squeeze every last dime out of you they can. I think this is not them funding the project. This is them just getting an early start on making that money.
So the other thing that you mentioned, Yield mentioned, is sometimes you buy into this. The thing is, we don't know how people are getting into this closed alpha. Generally, closed means that you have to be invited in some way, shape, or form. A open generally would mean that even if you buy it and get into it, that would be open. So I don't necessarily think this is something that you would buy into. They are obviously very selective on who they are having in this system.
I just Googled it. Insider playtest will be closed playtest for anyone selected to participate. You can apply to get into for free.
Okay.
So they're not paying to get into this.
But they are paying if they want to test the microtransaction system.
Correct.
Alrighty. Well, that was a fun little conversation. Thanks, EA. And now we get to talk.
Time to check my social media.
I didn't mean to cut you off there, Matt. I just
didn't finish my sentence.
I was trying to hit it first, and then I had to reach over something, and I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize.
All right. Well, fuck it. Listener questions. We got 2 questions in this week. One from Will. What will GTA 6's price for consoles be at launch? Because we all know the rumor that if Rockstar could get away with it, they'd be charging us $100 or more for a game. I'm going with it's going to be 70, especially if it's launching this year. Alex?
It'll be 70, but there will definitely be a deluxe edition or something like that that's at least $100.
Well, yeah, at least. I think they're going to announce a super collector's edition that's going to be $250 or more.
Well, here's the thing. I assume they're going to have online again. So they're going to have their money, their virtual currency that you can buy. And I guarantee there's a bundle that will include that. Or like you get special outfits or whatever. I mean, yeah, they'll have their 70. Look, they want to sell as many copies of this game as possible, and they want good word of mouth. So there will be a $70 price tag on one of the versions. But there will definitely be more expensive versions for the hardcore players out there.
Definitely agree. Yield?
Yeah, I agree with the 70, and I agree with Alex saying that, there will probably be like a collector's edition and yada, yada, yada to buy into their almost online / season pass that they'll do. And so.
Well, because think about it. When they give you virtual currency, that costs them zero money to make. Zero money. Unlike having to do maps or a statue or a t-shirt or something. Like if they have to give you something tangible that's like, physical, that costs them money to make. Giving you a bunch of virtual currency that you can use in the game that people, that's part of the reason the game lasts as long as it did, is because the online component of 5, and I don't know how fleshed out the online component will be at the start or if it'll come later or whatever, but if they can sell you the game and then a few skins or like outfits, maybe a few guns, and then virtual currency, they can get people to pay $30 to $50 more, and almost no money goes into it on their part.
I think it's gonna be $100 at launch minimum.
But you can't expect. I mean, look. Granted, somewhere, some place, a
it's
grandma's going to buy this.
it's
for their
going-
So you're saying base game, nothing extra.
Nothing extra. $100.
Okay.
Because
I'm making it clear.
this game is one of those games that no matter what the hell happens, people are going to buy it.
If it's I'm saying right now, if it's $100, I'll wait.
Well, no,
You sound like Sony.
no, hold on. Everybody's got to jump in right here a second. Yield, I know you'll wait. I know a lot of people that will wait. I'm talking about the mass audience. This game's going to sell. It's the same thing, not under the same extremes, because I think GTA is actually more powerful, but you got the same people that are going to buy Call of Duty every year. You got the same people that are going to buy Madden every year. You got the same people that are going to buy NBA 2K every year. Those are guaranteed sellers. And you could argue that some of them are system sellers. But GTA is a juggernaut, and it's going to sell, and Rockstar is going to sell it at $100 base, and people are going to buy it.
Even for Grand Theft Auto, there will be an uproar if they try to sell that for $100. Because look at the formula for Grand Theft Auto 5. They can put this game out on 3 separate console generations, and it will sell.
It did.
Exactly. They don't need to sell it for $100.
They don't need to, but they can, and they will.
No, they won't. I guarantee they won't. Like, to release a game for $100 when the MSRP for all other games is $70 or 60, they'd be insane. I don't care if it's Grand Theft Auto.
Just like Will said in the chat, people will piss and moan, but they will pay it.
I think what you're going to have, if they launch a $100 game, you are absolutely going to have people who buy it. I think you're going to have a lot of people who, more than you think, cancel their reserves.
Why would you do one model for $100 when you can sell a standard game for $70 and then charge more for the people who are willing to pay more for extra for a $100 edition? You don't need to sell $100 out of the gate. Because this game it's not selling each unit for $100. It's the full volume of what they can sell, the number of copies they can sell, and based on Grand Theft Auto 5, they're going to sell a lot, and they don't need to sell at $100.
Yeah, you keep saying they don't need to. No, they don't need to. They're going to, and they can.
They would be ludicrous to sell it at that much.
Dex says in the chat, read an article, potentially it's getting banned in Australia. Will says it will be $100. It will be a disc in an envelope, no case, and you will say thank you, and they will hand it to you. Dex asked the question, if GTA does come out for $100, will that set a benchmark for a price point raise for games?
Well, GTA is kind of like... Well, let's be real. There's no other game like GTA in this regard. No other game can match GTA in this, as far as...
Not even Call of Duty.
Yeah, nothing can match GTA. So, will it set a benchmark? No, but I think it's because I don't think that Ubisoft or Sony or Nintendo are willing to bet that they can sell a game for $100 in none of their games. If they put... Everyone know, Horizon's been one of those day one purchases for me each time a game has come out. There is no way in hell I'd spend $100 on a Horizon game. I would laugh and be like, well, if you're going to try this shit, I'm going to wait until I can play this for free on Plus.
All right, well, I mean, not as extreme, but if the next Horizon game comes out and it says we're going to sell it for $85, are you buying it day one?
No. Think about how long it took for games to go up to $70. It took a long time. And when we've had Jeff Henn on here, he's made that point. The cost of games has stayed relatively steady. It's not going to just all of a sudden jump up to 100 in 2 generations. You'd kill the game market. You could only get away with this with GTA. And even I don't think that Take-Two is going to do that with GTA. I think, you know what, I could be wrong, but I think there's going to be multiple versions. One of them will be $100 more, yes, but I still think they're going to sell a standard at $70. What was GTA 5 at? That was a standard price, right?
Yes.
I think that was $50 when it came out, but that was when it came out on the PS3.
So, I mean, yeah, again, they've always sold at a standard price for GTA. And it's not like GTA just became popular with GTA 5. It's been popular since Grand Theft Auto 3.
I don't know who made the comment, but they're saying about the GTA Online. I think it's gonna be fully functional at launch. I think they're just gonna integrate 5 into what 6 is.
Well, to be fair, they took long enough to make this game that you would hope that they could get GTA Online right out the gate.
Well, and then
Go ahead.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, Dex says in the chat, Concord couldn't match GTA.
And Will was out there throwing up pictures of potentially leaks somehow getting out there very early. I'm throwing the flag on that one. I still not believing it, but wouldn't put it past anybody.
Do we all believe this game's still coming out this year?
I mean, since Rockstar doesn't show up at any kind of a convention, or for the lack of a better thing, E3 when it was a thing, you won't know until they want you to know.
See, I don't think
I'm still waiting for a gameplay trailer, to tell you the truth.
That's what was gonna be my point. Is like, I don't think it's coming out this year because we haven't even gotten a second trailer for the game yet.
I thought that was supposed to drop.
They put out fake memes all the time. The last one was supposed to come out February 29th.
Oh, okay. So I thought it was supposed to come out this month.
I have a sneaking suspicion that they may latch on to Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest and potentially put out a trailer then with the launch date reveal.
See, I don't think so. I think, like Yeel says, I think they're just going to do their own thing. They don't need EA. They don't need EA. They don't need E3. They don't need PAX. They don't need Summer's Game Fest.
It's a good thing they don't need E3.
Right.
They've always done their own thing. Nah,
all right.
I think one day we'll just pop up and there'll be a trailer.
Yeah, it'll be like, here's the trailer, and then at the end of it, boom, launch date. Not saying it won't get postponed 3 or 4 times.
That wouldn't be Rockstar without it. V asked a question, follow up from a previous topic of the week. What IP would you like to see in Dynasty Warriors? Dynasty Warriors being the Muso type game where you get to, kill tons and tons of enemies on screen with super moves. And, there's been Gundam-based games. There's been Hyrule Warriors games. I don't know. What would any of you like to see in that type of game?
I don't play those type of games, so I can't even venture a guess.
I played one of the earliers, may have been 2 or 3, at a buddy's house, and I enjoyed that. But then after that, they changed the combat style, and it just didn't seem as fun. So I would, what IP? First thing that came to mind was Horizon, just because, but I don't think fighting, you'd have to fight other humans instead of fighting the robots. And that may not be, it might take it more out of the element if you're doing that.
I'm struggling. And, I literally thought the same thing, Yield, looking at Horizon. But yeah, no, imagine being a Thunderjaw doing that to humans.
Oh,
I could have.
I'd sign up for that. Or a tremor tusk.
Ooh, just sweeping left and right like in Lord of the Rings.
How about a snap maw?
Oh, I hate those MFers. Or the hippos.
They're assholes. The wide maw.
What about the Stormbird?
Any of them big old birds. I got a couple ideas here.
All right, throw them at us.
Ghost of Tsushima. I mean,
okay, that would be good.
You got a Mongol army coming after you, and you, as a samurai, have to, go take them down. And my experience with Dynasty Warriors is only Dynasty Warriors 4. That was, I unlocked I played a ton of that game. I unlocked all the characters. I think it was on PS2, but that was really the only game I ever played from Dynasty Warriors. My other thought was a little comeback, Heavenly Sword, Because I don't know if you'll remember, but that game actually had a moment where you were Noriko, you had the Heavenly Sword, and you fought off an army. Like an army was running at you, and you fought off like a ton of enemies on screen at once. So, I know the ending of that game kind of, I don't want to spoil anything, but despite the end of that game, like it'd be really cool if you were Noriko, you have your friends, your allies, but you had the Heavenly Sword, and like you just went at a whole bunch of enemies. Because I mean, clearly hack and slash. You think of the Heavenly Sword, how powerful it was. That could be the perfect weapon to take on all comers.
Will in the chat says Neon Genesis Evangelion or any giant mecha really. Yeah, you know what? How about Transformers?
Who are you going up against? Are you just going up against the Decepticons?
Well, no. See, that's the beauty of that type of game, because look at what happened with Hyrule Warriors. You played both as Link and in certain parts as Ganon. So you could do that where, set it back in Cybertron days as opposed to, on Earth, and you could play either side fighting armies of the other side.
Oh, okay. Ooh, I'm intrigued by this, Matt.
Shit, I need to copyright it and get on
Right,
that.
you better, because I like this. Are we just fighting in robot form, or do we get to transform and fight?
No, you would get to transform, because that's how you pull off your super moves. Like, have you ever played Transformers Devastation?
Not yet. It's in the queue.
So it's kind of like that. It's just it's Transformers Devastation has generic enemies that are on screen, but like the point of Dynasty Warriors games are there hundreds of enemies on screen. So in Transformers Devastation, Prime has a move where he transforms in a truck and he does like a whip around to smack whatever's in his way. So imagine doing that to like hundreds of Decepticons, or Megatron taking his fusion cannon and just doing a giant sweep in front of him.
Just blast everybody to Kingdom Come. All
exactly.
Right. Let's make this happen, folks.
Oh, come on, Hasbro. Do something for us.
I got some robots to destroy.
Oh, man, that would be good. All right.
That would be good. I just need to clean up with a game.
Yeah, we need a new good Transformers game. It's been a while. That does it for our questions of the week, which now we still have some time to do our topic.
Toe. Topic of the week. Well, fine then. Fuck you, Matt.
I was going to say there's an image if I don't step on it.
Yeah, we always seem to step on it. I think this is the first week we got it off. All right.
It seems like, but the funny thing about that is you can't hear Matt's response because Tricky just ripped my audio, so everyone's like, what the fuck did Matt say?
Because Matt actually didn't say anything at that point.
No, I thought Matt had said something like...
No, it was just a look he gave.
That bullshit.
No, he said he just gave a look.
Oh,
All right.
I was
Anyways, topic of the week is Silent Hill F has been announced. Based on what we've seen, it has a Japanese setting and may not actually be based in the town of Silent Hill. I want to discuss this a little bit because I don't know how many of you actually play Silent Hill. Obviously, I've played and loved the series for some time. And generally speaking, it takes place in a little Southwest American town of Silent Hill. This does not appear to be the case. And on top of that, Konami put out a warning on their website saying, please read before playing. This game contains depictions of gender discrimination, child abuse, bullying, drug-induced hallucinations, torture, and graphic violence. The game is set in Japan in the 1960s and contains depictions based on the customs and culture of that time. These depictions do not reflect the opinions or values of the developers or any individuals involved. If you feel uncomfortable at any point while playing, please take a break from playing or speak to someone you trust. And V is in chat and says it's basically just Fatal Frame, which there is a lot of comparisons going on out there on internet land based off of the latest trailer, which if you haven't seen it, I urge you to go watch it because it actually does look cool. I think that a lot of people are taking this to say, well, it's great. It's just not a Silent Hill game because Silent Hill generally has necessitated taking place in or around the town of Silent Hill.
So could this be, because I haven't played Silent Hill, so I'm asking like Matt, since you've played, Could this be like a prequel?
So there's a couple things to know about Silent Hill. Silent Hill is based around an event in this town. And as a result of what this town did to this little girl, kicked off the events of Silent Hill 1. And there's more to it than that, but that's what caused the issues in the town, how it became warped, how it became a psychological horror for anybody that is called to it. How that's set up in Japan, maybe there could potentially be something to say there's a larger thing at play. We've only seen a trailer. I don't know what the F at the end of the title means, and it's like a very stylized F too. It's like something you find on like a note sheet or something. But when you think about,
We're getting ready to play Silent Hill the musical.
yeah, if they break out into a dance, I'm uninstalling the game. When you think about other games, like, Resident Evil doesn't necessarily have a setting. Initially, it was the mansion. Then it became Raccoon City. Then it became anything and everything Capcom wanted it to be. Horizon has traversed the entire United States at this point. And I'm trying to think of any other game that's based around a single locale. I think Alan Wake had something going for it where it was just this little town.
Bright Falls?
I would say The Legend of Zelda, but Hyrule keeps changing.
But imagine that. Imagine doing a Legend of Zelda that had nothing to do with Hyrule. And I think we've had it.
Majora's Mask?
I mean, Skyward
Wild.
Skyward Sword.
You could talk about Termina being in Hyrule. Skyward Sword was just Hyrule before it was Hyrule.
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild is Hyrule. So nice try, Tricky. I'm struggling to think of other games that have a very specific setting that your entire basis around the game was that setting. So for them to move it, at least on a cursory glance, is puzzling to me.
Okay.
It does seem weird, though.
Stupid question.
Stupid answer coming.
Is Silent Hill, has it been established as a United States location? Is it possible that Silent Hill was in Japan?
That's actually a really good question.
Well, so the thing is, they've never said Silent Hill, Kentucky or Silent Hill, Mississippi. Like, they've never assigned a state to it. But it's generally been accepted that it is a location. It doesn't move. It doesn't transfer to other continents. That it has generally been a place. But that being said, Silent Hill has generally also been a state of mind that you get called to. And V says in chat, it is based on the town in PA. So based versus saying that's where it is, I think could be two separate things.
Agreed.
So the basis for it was a mining town that was perpetually on fire, causing all the ash and smoke to perpetuate throughout the town. And in the background, the logic was when the cult was doing their thing and they tortured this little girl and it ignited the mines is kind of what made the town abandoned. So what you're seeing in the trailer is this Japanese girl, and it's about relationships. Silent Hill is always about relationships and who your relationship with is and how it is. But in this trailer, you again get a conversation with a girl who is, they're talking about relationships, and she's seeing things and has to respond to things that suddenly appear. So it's all basically the same MO for a Silent Hill game. It's just not taking place in Silent Hill. And it's just weird for a game called Silent Hill to not be based in Silent Hill.
This is something I'm intrigued about, as in where they're going with it.
I mean, definitely will require more follow-up.
I think it is an origin story, especially if they're going back to the 60s for it. V is saying fatal frame, she will die on this hill. I think this is definitely an origin story. And that's why I asked the question is like, has Silent Hill ever been established as a U.S.-based location? Because if it comes out that this is the origin story and everybody's like, the mind-blowing thing is, oh shit, we've been in Japan this entire time. You know, that's where I was going with my question.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to find that it suddenly was in Japan this entire time, because everything that they talk about Silent Hill is this nice little American town, and there's nothing architecturally significant that it's found in Japan, whereas you look at Silent Hill F and it's a very Japanese style housing and architecture. So it's, if it's not the location, it is definitely dealing with whatever the haunt is. And Will says F stands for origins. I'll have to take you at your word. So maybe this is the creation of the entity that falls into Silent Hill and makes it what it is. I'm interested. I probably am still going to pick it up and play it when it eventually comes out, because I'm a Silent Hill whore. I'm just very interested in where they're going with this. Not
knowing anything about the game, I'm going to throw out a conspiracy theory here. I think, and I do want my credit if I get this right, which I don't think I'm going to. I'm going to say Silent Hill has always been in Japan, that this game is going to reveal that, and that throughout the damage and all that other stuff, Japan in itself basically disowns the town, and it becomes their own version of like America inside of Japan. And that's why all those games didn't look like Japan, but it's been based in Japan the entire time.
Will says shit's an entity and it shows up whenever certain events coincide. I could see that being, again, the girl in Silent Hill 1 ended up corrupting the town. But I don't think they ever... No, they kind of did explain some of the backstory of the entity that merged with the girl. So maybe this is the entity that eventually travels to Silent Hill as we know it.
Where was I know we didn't get a lot of details on it, but where was PT supposed to be based? Was that actually the traditional Silent Hill?
We didn't get... Well, it was supposed to be Silent Hills, plural. Right. So not sure what that was meaning. But yes, definitely it was still meant to be a little American town.
Well, there's a lot of sister cities going on, so
maybe that's where we were originally going to get our Japan Silent Hill. I don't know.
Stay tuned.
I think there's an aspect here is people are reacting viscerally the same way that they reacted when they found out Bloober Team was taking over to make the Silent Hill 2 remake, because people are very protective of this series. 2, you're getting people asking the questions that we're asking, saying why? Because if it's kind of set up in lore that this is a physical location located in a very specific point, even though we don't know that.
Well, you do. You know it's located in Silent Hill.
In chat,
that stop Matt dead stop.
Place in Hackensack, New Jersey.
That stopped Matt dead in his tracks.
God damn it, Will. I'd hate it if it wasn't so fucking funny. You were saying, Yield?
What was I saying? Oh, I was saying that we just don't know what country, so to speak, or state that this takes place in. We just know that it's in a town called Silent Hill. So, I mean, we do have a place. We just don't have a more defined place, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, so it is definitely more to come. Like I said, there's very visceral reactions about it all, and more that needs to be revealed, and eventually we'll get there. But like I said, I will probably still be picking it up.
I just Googled it because I was kind of curious. I guess this is where V got it too. It says Avery used the town Centrella, Pennsylvania, as the prototype for the town of Silent Hill. So
yeah, but that's not exactly where
it's located, right?
Yeah.
And that was also for the movie too. So that was not for the games.
So, there was a movie.
There was
two movies.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. You didn't know that?
I don't pay attention to a lot of video game movies.
The movie came out in 2006.
The first movie was actually kind of decent. The second one I didn't see, but I heard was forgettable.
Sounds a lot like Mortal Kombat. You know what I mean? Mortal Kombat, 1995.
First one was great.
Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
The recent Mortal Kombat movie was pretty good.
There was no Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Matt, you can't wipe that vision of Motaro from your mind.
Yeah, as much as I'd like to get rid of the Crystal Skull, unfortunately, it's there.
And apparently a third movie's in post-production.
Well, no, so they had the Mortal Kombat movie that came out on right to Max during the pandemic.
That was actually pretty good.
I thought it was decent, except the whole why are we focusing on a character that didn't exist in the games thing. But they are making a sequel, and I think it's in post-production now.
Yeah. And they're actually going to bring Johnny Cage into this one, so.
Which, I think, who is it rumored to be? Carl Urban?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see. But on the topic of video game movies, you could do a lot worse than, there has been a lot worse than the original Silent Hill movie.
Yes.
Anyways, thank you for coming to this week's talk of latest internet controversies. And with that, we could bring us to the wrap up. Alex, you want to go first?
Shout-outs time? All right,
shout-outs.
Let's do this. Give a shout-out to our community, the listeners, the fuel to the fire, the trophy whores. Y'all, we appreciate all the love. We appreciate you guys spreading the love. We appreciate you all interacting with us however you do, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's sending us questions, whether you're in the chat live tonight. We appreciate you all, and I hope you're ready for an action-packed episode of 666 next week, starring Tricky Mick. Give a shout out to my co-host, hey, Tricky Mick, Matt and Yield, and then last but not least, give a shout out to my awesome and loving girlfriend, Ashley. I love you, hun. And that's probably going to bring me to the end of my shout-outs.
Yield.
Shout out to everybody who was hanging out in chat. Nitro, Will, Rick. Shout out to Alex, the Brain, and Nitro for playing some Helldivers. It's fun to get back into that. Shout out to Alex, Tricky, and Matt for recording. Shout out to V for everything she does behind the scenes. Shout out to Power Wash Simulator for announcing the second game. That'll be something fun to play at the end of the year. Let's see, what else do I got? Shout out to all the Pimps Mounds of the Whoredom. Thank you for downloading, listening, hanging out with us, playing games, interacting with us on Facebook. Shout out to Gareth for the Trophy Community Challenge that he puts forth. And shout out to everybody who voted for Red Faction Guerrilla as the February Game of the Month.
All right.
I'm done.
Tricky, since you will not be here for episode 666, do you want to give double shout-outs?
You had to fucking do it one more time, didn't you? Shout out to everybody. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Also, anybody doesn't know, our merch store is live. Go buy some merch.
All right. Shout out to Rick and MZ. Shout out to Dax. Shout out to Will. Shout out to V. Thank you for interacting with us tonight in chat. Shout out for you gents for being here and recording. Shout out to Tricky, who will be returning in 2 weeks because he wants nothing to do with next week's episode. Shout out to the Channel 3 community. And make sure you all check out channel3.gg. And shout out to my wife, V, for everything you do. And with that, this has been episode 665, one away from 666. And we will see you next week for the Devil's episode. See ya.
Happy trophy hunting.
See ya.
Later.
The theme song is Venus by the band Even off their album Z. Permission granted by the band and 12 Stone Records. You can find them on Facebook by going to www.facebook.com/evenphilippines.